Um, what I'd like you to do is to state your name and spell your last name and tell us what branch of the service you were in.
Okay, my name is Edward W. Buchner, B-U-C-H-N-E-R. I go by the nickname of Bud or Buddy around the place here, and I'm retired out of the Air Force. I retired in 1961 as Senior Master Sergeant after 21 years in the Air Force.
Okay. If you would take us back to the point prior to your enlistment in the service, and tell us a little bit about what you were doing at the time and why you enlisted.
Actually, I was working in Mount Shasta, and I had a friend in Mount Shasta, and he was telling about his brother enlisting in the Army Air Corps, and if they enlisted in the Army Air Corps, why, you could get an assignment to the location that you selected, and also that they would send you to school for aircraft mechanic information or education. Well, I had thought about that quite a bit, and I think in 1939 or 40, why, we had to sign up for the conscription or the draft. And the way the world was going, the Japanese in China and also the Hitler in England, the handwriting was pretty much on the wall. It's just liable to wind up in the military service anyway. So one day, instead of going to work, I jumped on a Greyhound from Mount Shasta and then went down to Reading. I thought, well, I'll go down to Reading and talk to the recruiting sergeant. So I got down there and I found a recruiting sergeant, and actually, before I knew it, I had meal tickets in my hand. I had train tickets, the first time I ever been on a train, and I was headed for San Francisco to 49 Federal Building. So I got down there, and of course I had to get off the train at that time. I had to ride the ferry because there was no bridge across the bay. And I got on Market Street. Good Lord, I'd never been in a big city before. I think I'd only been out of Siskiyou County a couple of times, so it was quite an experience. But I found 49 Federal Building, and I don't know how many floors I went up, but anyway, I got up there and got inducted into the service, and rode a Ford station wagon, the old wooden side Ford station wagon, out to Hamilton Field. That's where I wanted to go, and I got the assignment all right, and got out there. And they had 4 great big barracks there, and for the first night, when we got out there, it was getting late at night, and had to crawl up a ladder that's tacked on the side of the wall up into the attic on a bunk up there, and the fellow said, well, when you come down in the morning, you report to the fellow that's sitting in that chair, sitting behind that desk there. So the next morning we came down, and I reported to him, and he took necessary information that he wanted. And one thing, he asked me what my service number was, and I didn't know what he was talking about, but they'd give me a little slip of paper that had a number on it, 19,840,000. And so he asked me, well, didn't he write a number down and give it to you? And I said, oh yeah, that number of 19,840,000. Well, he couldn't write that, and it really teed him off. That's the first chewing out that I got in the military service. So we got through that, and then I told him I'd like to have a couple of days off because I hadn't quit my job yet. My car was sitting up there in Mount Shasta. He says, son, he says, you're in the service now. You will not get any days off. Now, this is 11th of December 1940. Well, as luck would have it, they gave us 2 3-day passes just before Christmas, and so I got to come up, and I got my car and went over to the office and got paid for the time that I had worked, and And I think that was the day before Christmas. I walked in the house here with a military uniform on Christmas Eve.